In today's video, I'm going to show you how to smooth skin in Photoshop using a clean, professional technique that keeps the skin looking natural instead of over-edited. This method is great because it separates texture from tone, which means you can reduce blemishes, soften uneven patches, and keep realistic detail at the same time. If you've ever wanted that polished, retouching look without making skin appear plastic, this is the workflow to learn. And if this tutorial helps you out, make sure to hit like and subscribe for more easy Photoshop tutorials just like this. Alright, let's jump in. First, open your image in Photoshop and look for your background layer. The very first thing we're going to do is duplicate it twice. On Windows, press Ctrl+J twice. On Mac, press CMD+J twice. This gives you two copies of the original layer, which is important because one layer will hold the skin tone and color information, and the other layer will hold the fine texture and detail. Now rename the top duplicate layer texture and rename the middle duplicate layer tone. This step helps keep your layers organized, especially if you're editing multiple photos or going back later to make adjustments. Once that's done, turn off the visibility icon next to the texture layer for now, then click on the tone layer so it becomes active. With the tone layer selected, we're going to remove the fine texture and leave behind only the smooth colors and shading. Go up to the top menu, choose Filter, then Blur, then Gaussian Blur. A slider will appear, and your goal is to blur the skin just enough so pores and tiny lines disappear, but the face still keeps its overall light and shadow structure. Depending on your image resolution, this is usually somewhere between 4 and 10 pixels. Take your time here, because if you blur too much, the skin can start looking artificial. When it looks soft and blurry but still natural in shape, click OK. Now we need to bring back the texture on the top layer. Turn the visibility eye back on for the texture layer, then click that layer to select it. Next, go to Image, then Apply Image. This is the step that extracts the high-frequency detail from the image. In the Apply Image dialog box, set the layer drop down to your tone layer row, then change blending to subtract. Keep opacity at 100%, set scale to 2, and offset to 128. These settings are what create the texture separation effect. Once everything is set correctly, click OK. At first, your canvas may look like a flat gray or wireframe version of the image. Don't worry, that's exactly what should happen. Now go to the Layers panel and change the blend mode of the texture layer from normal to linear light. As soon as you do that, your image should snap back to looking normal again, but now the tone and texture are separated into two editable layers. Now comes the part where we smooth the skin tones. Click back onto the tone layer because that is the layer we'll use to soften uneven color and blotchiness. Select the Lasso tool from the left toolbar by pressing L if needed. At the top, set the feather amount to 20 pixels so the edges of your selections blend softly. This is really important because hard edges would make the retouching obvious. Now draw a loose selection around an area of uneven skin, like the cheek, forehead, or jawline. Try to keep your selection focused on the skin and avoid important features like the eyes, nostrils, eyebrows, lips, and sharp facial edges. Once the area is selected, go back to Filter, then Blur, then Gaussian Blur again. This time, increase the radius until the blotchy tones blend together and the skin looks smoother and more even. You'll notice the color patches melt into a soft gradient, while the texture layer above keeps the pores and detail visible. When it looks right, click OK. Repeat this process around different parts of the face. You do not need to blur the entire image at once. In fact, working section by section gives you much more control and helps you avoid overdoing the retouch. Small adjustments across the forehead, cheeks, chin, and the under eye area can make a big difference while still keeping the result realistic. If you still see a few bigger blemishes, pimples, or scars after smoothing the tones, you can clean those up on the texture layer. Click on the texture layer, then grab either the clone stamp tool with S or the healing brush tool with J, hold Alt on Windows or Option on Mac to sample a clean area of nearby skin texture, then paint over the blemish. Because you're working on the texture layer, you can remove those imperfections without damaging the skin tone underneath. That's the basic workflow for smooth skin in Photoshop. Separate the texture and tone, blur the tone gently, keep the texture sharp, then do any final cleanup on top. It's a powerful technique because it gives you precision, flexibility, and a much more natural looking result than simply blurring the whole photo. With a little practice, you'll be able to retouch portraits quickly and professionally. If this Photoshop tutorial helped you, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next editing guide. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.